Epa menores, yo soy el Gringo Malandro. Hey, what's up, my homies? I am Gringo Malandro. That's what they say in Venezuela. I heard they say that's also in República Dominicana, Los Malandros. That's the way they talk. Malandros like thug, gangster, that type of thing. I have a cat. His name is El Gato Malandro. We are raising $102 million in 1,000 days. Is it possible? It'd probably take us 1,000 years. We're gonna start out with encuestas, which is online surveys. I kind of looked up like the top 10, and we're gonna go to the websites and try to see how long it takes to make $100. If it takes way too long to make $20, we'll dump it, move on to the next. But the idea is that we want to raise our first 1,000. I'm also going to do sponsorships where if there's people that want to advertise in my next 100 videos, I'll charge a really low fee. That'll count also as income towards getting to that $102 million. We're going to do anything possible that we can do legally, of course. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to use the $102 million for, but later we'll talk about that. I still got a long distance to get there, so we'll have plenty of time. What I am going to do is tell you a little background. I was originally living in a van while I was in Miami, Florida. I got a van to do rides for, I started doing Uber rides. Then I got a van and I started taking people to the Everglades, and I got a license with Miami-Dade to do van transportation. So I was doing that, but then the fees were killing me. The insurance was $750 a month. So I had a 15 passenger Ford Transit van, and I'm like, hey, this high expenses and stuff, and then the rent is $2,000, $2,500 a month. And it's okay. Then I got inspired, saw a whole bunch of van life videos, and I'm like, oh, that looks great. But I didn't have any money for the bills. But I'm like, I'll just live in the van and shower in the gym. And then I had one cat. And then after time gone by, but not eating right, McDonald's, whatever I can, and then my sugar is going up, I don't leave the van because I'm taking care of the cat. Because in the daytime in Miami, you can't leave the cat in the van because he'll die. So then I would just stay in the van and at daytime with the air conditioning on all damn day long. And then in the evening, I'd be tired, but then I have to leave the air conditioning on because it's so hot at night too. Felt my legs getting hinchado, which is swollen. Hinchado in Spanish, swollen in English. Okay, so they got swollen, and then I was okay, something's wrong. I was kind of ignoring them, okay, went down, later I'll go to the doctor, whatever, putting it off. But then I started losing my eyesight, and when I started losing my eyesight, it was starting to see pixelated. I would look at the on the light, and instead of seeing one light, it would be 7, or the moon, there'd be 7 moons. In the daytime, things started to get cloudy, really cloudy. And then at night, I could somewhat see better. So then I got to a point where I'm okay, what am I doing? I just grabbed the van, and I had a cargo trailer, and I drove back to Chicago. It took me 2 weeks to get there because it was I can only drive at night. In the daytime, I'd kill time, parked wherever I would be parked, the whole day, and then at night, drive again. And so literally it took me 2 weeks because I drive at night, and then if it would be rainy or foggy, then I couldn't see, and then I'd have to stop wherever I was in those truck stops or rest stops. So I ended up getting to Chicago. I had the van where I parked it outside of an apartment that I was able to get, and some drunk driver on the New Year's smashed into the trailer, destroyed the trailer. And then the trailer smashed into the back of the van, and the back door wasn't working really well, and it was I couldn't work because I couldn't see. So it was the payments were stacking up. So I'm okay, it's that world sickness, and I can't work because I can't see. So I just like let the bank take the car. I'm like, okay, it's a loss. It's probably gonna mess up my credit like there's no tomorrow. And then just so happened my luck is that, I don't know, a month and a half gone by, and then I get a check for $6,900. Apparently they auctioned off the van, but it went for a way higher price than what I bought it for originally. So I got like $6,900 back. I'm like, woohoo! So before I was seeing how crypto was going up, and I'm like, oh, let me go grab the money and invest it in crypto. And my brother's like, slow down. Things that go up also come back down. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'll be good. So I bought a couple coins at their high point, thinking, oh, just a little bit more and we're good. Cardano being one of them, it was like peaked at almost $3, and I bought it at 185. I'm like, oh, when it goes back up to 3 or 10 or whatever all those YouTube speculation videos talk about, oh, it'll be good. And so instead of going up, it went down. I think the lowest point that I've seen it was like 24 cents. Imagine that. So, and I bought like New York City coin, Miami coin, and that had something crazy. Like there was an exchange called OK coin, and they're like, oh, if you stake it, we'll give you 256%. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a lot. So I staked like part of the money in that. And then before I knew it, it was like, they're like, oh, you know what? We're stopping the staking. I got some money from that 200 and whatever percent, but then they gave the money back, like they sent the crypto back to your wallet, and then it wasn't like they weren't doing the staking. And then when they did, like the values started like going way down and stuff, and I'm like, oh, gotta move it to something else. And then they had the staking again, but then it's like, nah. But then the coin went, like, literally got delisted from that same platform, OK coin. And so I was like, okay, that's a loss. And then so basically my $6,900 went to like $690, give or take. Like I lost 90% of the value in crypto. I would have to wait, but I was like, I'm not waiting. Especially I needed to do eye surgery, and that was around $7,000. Like $9,000 they quoted me. But then later I found a place where I can get it done for, like, they gave me a discount because I didn't have insurance. And so I ended up getting it for like $7,500, and that was great. I could see right away, but there was a time frame of like 2 years between when I got out of the van, was controlling my sugar, getting back on track, and then went to a doctor, and I was doing intermediate fasting. Like I got up to like 18 hours, and I did a few 24 hours. I have diabetes, so it's like I was trying to do that 36-hour fasting, but I could never get there. And then I did get the surgery. I could see 20/20 vision. Well, everything's wonderful. But then, like, there was like this odd thing. Like, I'm in Miami and there's hurricanes, and there would be most likely there would be a flood in Miami. No, in Chicago, a flood. And so, like, I'm in a garden apartment, which is like a basement apartment, and the whole thing got flooded, like up to right below my knees. So all my computers and stuff that are on below my knees level, like on the floor, got it was underwater. And so I ended up throwing out a lot of stuff, and I ended up like without anything, just a 4-year-old computer and an old cell phone. And so with that, I'm starting this thing. I feel like I am like starting life all over again, because I couldn't see before. Like literally I would cross the street and I like put my foot out touching the ground to make sure there's no steps or something, an obstruction. One day I was walking on the street and I didn't see one of those, in Spanish they call it tope. I think in Venezuela they call it a policía acostado, which is like a police officer laying down. It's a speed bump, basically. So I hit the speed bump walking, and I fell over and I scraped the hell out of my knees and my leg and stuff. And so it's like, okay, this is not good. And so when I started, when I did one eye, when I did surgery for one eye, it was amazing because it was like I could see instantly. And then on the second eye, the next day I started driving. So it's like, wow, I couldn't see my mom for like 3 years, and my brother and my cat. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are 3 years older. And it was a nice feeling to be able to see again. And then I couldn't drive for 3 years because I couldn't see. But now suddenly I can drive, so it's like, wow, everything's better. Like, it's like a new lease on life. So now it's like I want to do something totally the opposite of. That's why I'm doing this $102 million in 1,000 days. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see if we can do it. Gotta try it to do it. So, and later I'll tell you guys what I'm gonna use the money for. But don't worry, it's not buying a super yacht or a Lambo or whatever. And let's do whatever side hustles we can. I have diabetes. Okay, I lost sensation in my feet. I don't feel my feet. When I got out of the van, I couldn't feel most of my body. Because of the diabetes, I lost my teeth. Like, my teeth would break off and stuff, so I need to go to get implants at the dentist. But that here in the United States is like $70,000, 30 on the low end. That's like big money. They say if I go to Mexico on the border, I probably can get it for way cheaper. But we'll get to that point eventually in this little adventure of getting to $102 million. I think by that time I can, somewhere in between that, I could probably get the implants. We'll see what happens. I don't have a vehicle right now. No car, no nothing, not even a bicycle. So it's like, I have the 2 cats. I'm in an apartment that eventually I'm going to leave because it's just like, you know, I want to do this part. This is the next chapter, and I'm not going to be in this apartment doing that. So I want to travel. I want to do different things. So I'll be out and about trying to make that money, hustling to make the first 1,000, 2,000. I just want to motivate people to get, like, to change their life. So basically, if I don't reach my goal, I'll be doing a lot of side hustles that people can get motivated by, and maybe there's something that somebody sees that motivates them to do some other idea, but at least they got motivated to do it. And that's the whole purpose of this mission, this whole path that I want to go on. So, but my personal goal is $102 million in 1,000 days, which is a little bit less than 3 years. And we'll see what happens. So if you can, share this video with a friend. Subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram or whatever, all the social medias, Gringo Malandro. But this account is called Independizar, which means to be independent. You're building web apps, buying a auction, selling it, a whole bunch of different things. But basically, I'm going to be telling everything that I'm doing and my progress. And then if people want to get like the tutorials and more in depth, they can go to the website and watch one of the courses related to that. I don't have that part built yet, but we're going to get there. I am uploading videos in Spanish and English because I don't have that option on the channel where I can add like audio voices. I can do subtitles in another language, but I want to do the thing where I can do audio. I don't have that option yet on the channel. Maybe when I hit more subscribers, I'll have that option. But in the meantime, I'll be uploading Spanish and English videos. Just letting you guys know that. Thanks for checking out this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.